Other interesting cultural news, you have a country star rising exponentially quick. A man by the name of Oliver Anthony with his new song called Rich Men's of North Richmond, which is a pejorative term for, Washington, D.C. And it's one of my favorite examples. Perhaps I need to reread the business book called Freakonomics, in which it talks about, businesses and products that have been around forever, but then all of a sudden just explode in popularity and everyone has to have them, whether it's those stupid Ugg boots or the Timberland, whatever the ladies wear, the sandals, or the iPod, where all of a sudden, it was kind of popular, and everyone had an iPod. There's certain things in business and culture, it's just fascinating to see what hits and what explodes overnight. Now, this is just an excerpt of his song. It's about 40, actually, it's not about, it's like precisely 45 seconds. This is on Twitter, and within 5 days, it got 24.5 million impressions. Now, impressions means, I believe by the Twitter or X.com definition, they've seen it on their timeline and perhaps they've clicked it. It doesn't necessarily mean they've watched the whole thing. Now, it's also got 137,000 likes, so that's a pretty darn good ratio, and 6,000 bookmarks and 5,554 quotes. Well, let's go ahead and play it for a New York minute here. Or a Southern minute would be more appropriate, perhaps.
People like you wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men, don't the rich men. People.
That is just 9.8 billion times better than most music made in the past 10 years. Not a single use of some computer in terms of having a voice, the auto-tune. And fastly enough, this is probably not trend because it's not disparaging women or using them as objects. So, it won't trend in certain areas of the music industry. But it's fascinating to see how many people are getting behind this song. And of course, the media is calling him far right, which is a cliche as old as time. Pretty much everything, if you don't agree with one policy, they'll label you that. It's a term that's now lost all meaning in the United States. And just insult to injury to show how asinine that is, he says multiple times in interviews and both in public, he's politically in the middle. He doesn't like Republicans, he doesn't like Democrats. He's part of the ever-growing group of people who are politically ostracized or just kind of feel homeless, including myself. When I see more and more people mess up on the left and the right, it's kind of like, well, it'd be nice if someone did something correct more often than not. But it's fascinating to see. Everyone's calling him already, insulting him, telling him disparaging things. And it's one of those things where he just wants to call out the fact that, yeah, DC's kind of making your life pretty crappy. The US dollar is becoming worth less and less. Just anecdotally speaking, just conceptually think. United States, let's say you're really lucky, you work like hell, you make $100,000. Well, the federal government's going to steal 40% of that. Now, let's say your state, average income tax might be in the state, let's say it's about 10%. That's half your paycheck gone. Now, let's say you want to go to the store and purchase something. That's on average maybe 8 to 10% again. And then, of course, you have all the things you have to pay for things you already paid for. So you have property tax, you have gasoline, which is taxed, you have your car, which is taxed, the sales tax, as well as registration fees. It's one of those things where if people actually did the math and found out how screwed they were, they'd probably vote differently. Although, again, who do you vote for when both sides, again, usually have both sides of billions of dollars in war funds or chest funds? It's a marketing term where you're used for offensive marketing against your adversary or your competitor. And unfortunately, there's not really a lot. I wish there were more support for a third party, so especially things are on an equal playing field, but it's just unfortunately not the way the landscape is proven or shown these days. So it's nice to see some good music actually trending for once. Just coming after John Rich's song "Try That in a Small Town," or not John Rich. That was I believe Jason Aldean. John Rich, interestingly enough, the reason he was on top of my mind, he's actually reached out to this artist and actually said that he would sponsor him in terms of he actually will pay for take him under his wing to actually publish and sell his album, which is a huge thing in being a musician. One of the hardest things is actually get your name out there and actually get a contract with a record company, actually produce and actually sell So you have a multiplier effect. It's not just you selling it on your individual social medias, but you have a whole industry helping you out. And sometimes it's insurmountable for some artists, unfortunately. And that's why there's a lot of great musicians we've never heard of, unfortunately, just because the industry didn't choose them. Which is a fascinating topic in and of itself. We'll leave that for another time. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of this month, so I greatly appreciate you taking time to click that button. Also, the feedback is greatly appreciated. So every time you leave a comment on the videos or you like the videos, it really helps us grow and develop as we make the channel and make the production better and better. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.